Good evening. We'll now call the business session of April 7th, 2020 to order at 6:05 p.m. Welcome to our guests online. We provide an opportunity for the public to address the City Council on any agenda item or during the hearing of visitors portion of the agenda. On March 16, 2020, the Governor suspended various provisions of the Open Meetings Act pursuant to his State of Disaster Authority. The change was effective March 16, 2020 until further notice or until the State Disaster Declaration expires. In accordance with social distancing guidelines and while providing as much transparency as possible, the Waco City Council meeting will not be open to the public. This meeting is being broadcast live at WCCC.tv. The audio is being recorded and the recordings will be available to the public. According to the Attorney General, statutes that may require face-to-face interaction between the members of the public and public officials are suspended, provided, however, that governmental bodies offer alternative methods of communication with their public officials. This includes public comment on agenda items. In an effort to allow for as much public input as possible, those who wish to submit their written comments on a listed agenda were asked to submit their comments to the City Secretary by 10 a.m. on April 7th, 2020. We do have some of those comments, and our City Secretary, Esmeralda Hudson, will read those in at the appropriate time. Now, please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. First item of business is to consider and approve the minutes of February 11th, 2020, March 17, 2020, March 24th, 2020, and March 31, 2020 council meetings. Are there any changes? Those will stand approved as written. Our first resolution is Resolution 2020-225. We have received registration cards for that item. And at this time, I'll ask City Secretary Esmeralda Hudson to read those comments into the record.
Yes, Mayor. The first card is from Paris Rutherford. Mr. Mayor and members of the City Council, over the last week, we have worked with City staff in the preparation of amendments to the development agreement as listed in the background portion of the proposed resolution before you today. We would like to thank your staff for their efforts in bringing this forward and look forward to the opportunity for beginning construction immediately on this important development that we believe will transform the city's downtown waterfront. Thank you for your consideration. Next card is from Joshua King. As a resident of Woodway, but invested member of the wider Waco community, I teach at Baylor. I am in support of this effort to develop the economy of our region. It is a wonderful opportunity to invest as well in clean energy so as to be better steward the gift of this place we share and the futures of our children. To that end, I hope this project will rely on electric construction, no gas, install solar panels on all feasible places, and include as well EV charging stations. This would be one way in which Waco could contribute particularly to the long-term health of our community and provide an example to other towns in Texas and beyond. It is a critical moment in the environmental history of our common home. Alan D. Northcutt. Waco Mayor and councilpersons, you may wonder why our organization continues to talk about the climate crisis in the time when our lives are dominated by the COVID-19 pandemic. You might even consider our concern about climate at this time inappropriate. I will explain why the climate crisis must remain part of the deliberations and city policy. COVID-19 is an acute emergency. The climate crisis is a slow-moving, chronic emergency. That is very real. Climate change and air pollution kill approximately 7 million every year globally, World Health Organization. When the pandemic has resolved, the climate crisis will remain every single year. COVID-19 has been especially deadly in the U.S. because of a lack of preparation, especially at the federal level, largely as a result of disregarding science. With climate change, we must avoid that mistake. We must listen to the science and begin the process of moving from fossil fuel to clean, renewable energy today. COVID-19 has not stopped the current administration in Washington from taking steps to worsen air pollution and climate change. Thus, we must continue to join hundreds of cities acting in the dictates of climate science to preserve a livable planet and lessen air pollution. Since the city is placing non-COVID topics on the agenda, the full response of climate consideration must be provided. Therefore, in planning the Brazos Promenade, climate solutions should be considered in all aspects of the project. In 2020, to consider climate solution risk, obsolescence, especially in comparison with other cities, thus green technology should be considered in all phases of the construction. Some examples include economically building rooftop solar on all new buildings, providing level 2 and level 3 EV charging facilities, or incentives for private companies to install these, and requiring all new promenade buildings to be all electric. Thank you, Alan Northcutt. That's all I have, Mayor.
That's all you have? All right, this item is to consider a resolution approving a second amendment to the development agreement with Catalyst Urban Development for the Brazos River Development, also known as Brazos Promenade Project, to extend the Phase 1 commencement deadline of the project from March 20th, 2020 to noon on April 9th, 2020, to delete Phase 4 from the project and make other changes, and authorizing the city manager to execute any documents in connection therewith, including an estoppel certificate and any documents that need to be amended to conform to the first and second amendments of the development agreement. Yesterday, we received new documents from Catalyst and Catalyst lender that were different bond terms than we had previously understood, and that has caused some confusion and some difficulty in deciding whether to move forward with this. The issue is that the bond is currently, as drafted, has an addendum that makes it payable jointly to the city, to the contractor, and to the developer on the public portion of the improvements, which is about $9 million. And that was a surprise to us. Staff is trying to determine how to deal with that issue, and I think we need to give them a little bit more time to figure out whether they can mitigate this with an acceptable level of risk. So I would like to ask that instead of extending to noon on April 9th, that we extend to noon on April 15th. That's next Wednesday. And I would entertain a motion to approve this with that date change to April 15th, and also with the understanding that we are giving Wiley the discretion to determine as city manager whether this risk is adequately mitigated. Could I get a motion in a second, and then we can have discussion of that?
So moved.
All right, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion or questions for staff? Hearing none, please poll the council.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes.
Kennard?
Yes.
Sabido?
Yes.
Bearfield?
Yes.
And Deaver?
Yes, that motion carries. The consent agenda consists of resolutions 2020-226 through 2020-243. Is there a motion on the consent agenda?
So moved. Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes.
Kennard?
Yes.
Sabido?
Yes.
Bearfield?
Yes.
Deaver?
Yes, that motion carries. We have three ordinances tonight, all on second reading. The first is ordinance 2020-244.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco be amended by revising Section 28247 and Chapter 28 zoning of said code. Provide that the zoning map shall be changed so that certain property described as Lot 6, Block 3, Barnard Kate Ross, Walton subdivision, known as 910 Webster Avenue, shall be changed from M2 district classification and become and be designated the C4 district classification. Providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding and terminating the meeting at which this ordinance is passed to open the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on March 17th, 2020.
Is there a motion?
Motion for approval on second reading.
Did we get a second?
Second.
Okay, motion and a second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes.
Kennard?
Yes.
Sabido?
Yes.
Bearfield?
Yes.
Deaver?
Yes, that motion carries. Ordinance 2020-245.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco be amended by revising Section 28247 and Chapter 28 zoning of said code. Provide the zoning map shall be changed so that certain property described as Lots 1 and 2, Block 60, Campbell Addition, known as 401 South 11th Street, shall be changed from M2 district classification and become and be designated to C4 district classification. Providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding and terminating the meeting at which this ordinance is passed, is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on March 17th, 2020.
Is there a motion?
Motion for approval on second reading. Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes.
Kennard?
Yes.
Sabido?
Yes.
Bearfield?
Yes.
Deaver?
Yes, that motion carries. Ordinance 2020-246.
An ordinance of the City of Waco, Texas, providing the Code of Ordinances of the City of Waco be amended by revising Section 28-247 and Chapter 28 zoning of said code, providing the zoning map shall be changed so that certain property described as lots 1 through 12 and Lot A, Block A, Farm Lot 11 addition, known as 301 and 325 South 6th Street, shall be changed from M2 and C5 district classification and become and be designated to C4 district classification, providing for penalties, providing a severability clause, and finding and determining that the meeting at which this ordinance is passed is open to the public as required by law. This ordinance was approved by a 6-0 council vote on first reading on March 17th, 2020.
Is there a motion?
Motion for approval on second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Please poll the council.
Holmes?
Aye.
Meek?
Yes.
Kennard?
Yes.
Sabido?
Yes.
Bearfield?
Yes.
Deaver?
Yes, that motion carries. We'll now open the hearing of visitors. During the hearing of visitors section of the agenda, we provide an opportunity for any citizen to present concerns or address issues that are not matters for consideration listed on the agenda. Council is unable to conduct discussion, but will listen, ask staff to look into concerns and provide follow-up. I'll now ask Esmeralda to read into the record those comments from the hearing of visitors.
Yes, sir. The first card is from Teresa Porter. A few months ago, I gave you a map with a few suggested sites for EV charging stations. I need them then. I need them even more now. I am driving up to 150 miles a day delivering meals and groceries to Waco residents. I remind you that currently the only charging station in Waco are the dealerships who are operating with restricted hours. As for the fast charger in Belmead, it's not a matter of if, but when it goes down, so do I. It takes up to 23 hours to recharge my car and my home charger. I need more than one charging station that is publicly available 24/7. I hold my wallet in the air begging you to take my money. I really need this, pretty please, and don't do it just for me and my immediate need. Do it for the future where tourism fires back up. Network charging stations will literally put Waco on the map and attract more EV drivers off the highway and to the shops and other attractions near the charging stations. Thank you. Next card is Alan D. Northcutt. The state rebate plan for light-duty vehicles is still accepting applications, but only 1,589 rebates of 2,500 for EVs remain. Now is the time to replace as many city gasoline cars with EVs as possible. In addition, the life cycle cost of EVs is often less than gasoline cars. The following is the page on the TCEQ website showing the remaining EV rebates. And recall the EVs are a great way to cut city GHG emissions and improve air quality. Thank you. Grant status natural gas rebates remaining, 997 hydrogen and electric rebates remaining, 1589. That's all I have, Mayor.
All right, thank you, Esmeralda. We'll now close the hearing of visitors. Are there any council member reports on committees or boards or commissions liaison visits? I know, Andrea, you had something.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. Council members, I wanted to bring to your attention, I know that we were made aware last week during council about Principal Perry's passing for COVID, and that was our one death within McLennan County. However, we lost one of our Waco daughters on yesterday as well. Jan Forney, who was a native Wacoan, daughter of Martha Forney, Jan was older than me, so I didn't really know her, but Mom and Martha Forney were friends and sorority sisters, and she was a Juilliard-trained jazz singer and amazing, and she would come home and perform, and she passed away yesterday from COVID-19 in New York. So I wanted to issue the Waco community my condolences and share in the loss of this Waco gem that we had, that is from our community and has bettered the world with her gifts, and I wanted to bring that to your attention and also extend our condolences to friends and family throughout the community.
Thank you, Andrea, and we do want to express our condolences at that sad news. Any other reports from council members.
Mayor, I just want to take this opportunity to remind everyone that even though Census Day was last week on April 1st, people can still take their census via telephone, mail, or most conveniently for the first time online. This is another great way to practice our civic duty, and you know, with more people spending more time at home, I think it makes it more convenient where people could take it either through their iPad, their laptop, or even their smartphone. They can go to whyicantwaco.org and just take that. It literally takes 3 to 5, maybe 6 minutes. And so, once again, I just want to encourage everyone, if they haven't done so already, to please take it. But if you have done it, to also encourage your family, friends, and loved ones to take it as well. So, with that, I will let it be. Thank you.
Yeah, and I'd like to add to that, during this time of COVID-19, if you don't fill out your census, that means census workers have to get out in the community and try to find you and get you to fill it out. And so not only for the reason that we need every person counted, but to keep everyone safe, please complete your census online or by phone or by mail. Anything else from any of the council members? Okay, I've got a couple of things that I'd like to say. First, I really want to thank our staff, especially our Public Information Director, Larry Holsey, and our City Secretary, Esmeralda Hudson, and both of their staffs for all their work to make this virtual City Council meeting possible. There's an incredible amount of work that goes into making this happen. It doesn't just happen by itself. And then I said that earlier, and I will say this again too, because I know not everybody watches our work sessions. I just can't thank enough all of the city management, legal team, city staff for the incredible work they're doing to keep our city running. This is an unprecedented time, and these men and women are working really, really hard to keep the city functioning, to keep all the planning happening and all the good work going so that we're ready to come out of this in a good, strong position. I want to encourage everyone watching this to go back and watch the work session if you missed it. Particularly the update from our working teams that started about 30 minutes into the work session. 4 of our council members are co-leading those working teams. One on business and individual economic recovery, one on health, one on strategic communication, and one on social services and education. And then Councilmember Meek is coordinating all of that work for us. And if you want to see what your city and what the strategic partners, key partners that we're working with are doing about COVID-19, there's not a better opportunity than to go online and watch that. Just go to our website and you'll find that information very quickly. I also want to let everyone know that we're going to have a joint press conference tomorrow afternoon at 1:30 with McLennan County Judge Scott Felton and Dr. Jackson Griggs, who is the CEO of the Waco Family Health Center here in Waco. Dr. Griggs is serving as co-chair of our working team on health along with Councilmember Kennard. He is also vice chair of the Waco McLennan County Public Health District Board, and I've asked him to join us to answer any health questions that the press may have and to give updates. I really want to thank all our citizens who are doing such a great job of complying with the stay-at-home order. I don't want you to see this as something that is imposed on you. I want you to see this as a positive, affirmative action you're doing to keep everyone safe, not just your family, but everyone else in our city and our community. Those efforts are working, and we're going to have to continue those for the foreseeable future to defeat COVID-19 and slow the spread. I appreciate the emails and calls that I've gotten, especially those that say that they are praying for us. I encourage you to pray for all the leaders of government, that they make wise decisions about the continuation of these orders and the important things that have to be done. But mostly, I ask that you pray for our healthcare workers, for first responders, and for their families. They are the ones that are on the front lines of this and are dealing with the stresses of it every day. I want to say that I do believe we will get through this together and we will be stronger for it. There being no further business, we will adjourn this meeting at 6:25 p.m. Thank you.